Hi. In this video we will demonstrate the practical application of the Metasploit Framework to attack and exploit a vulnerable machine called Metasploitable 1. You can download this machine for your lab from vulnhub.com. Just search for Metasploitable 1 and download from this link. When you download it, you will get a zip file. Extract it and open the VMX file. This will open in VMware or VirtualBox that you should have installed already. Power on this virtual machine and click OK. It will take some time to boot up. This will be our target machine that we will access from our attacking machine that I have set up already with Ubuntu, where our Metasploit framework is running. First we have to find the IP address of our target machine, and for that, we have to log into it. The default credentials for Metasploitable 1 is MSFadmin and MSFadmin for the password as well. Then enter the command IP address. And 192.168.1.102 is our target IP. Let's minimize this and go to our attacking machine. This is my Ubuntu. We will use this machine as our attacking machine, where my MSF console or Metasploit framework is running. Now the first step is information gathering. A tool that we will use for information gathering about our target is Nmap. Nmap is a great tool for scanning ports and finding network services on a machine. We will run Nmap with this command. Nmap. The SV switch is for finding the version of the services, and the O switch is for getting information about the operating systems running on our target. And this is our target IP. And this option enables the port scanning from 1 to 65535, which is all ports on this target machine. Let's press enter. Let's cancel it and increase our speed with T5, which is the insane level. So this switch will get the results much faster than a normal scan. Still, it will take some time because you are scanning all the ports. So after a couple of minutes, we have the following results. A lot of ports with their services and their version numbers have been displayed on the screen. We will exploit all of these services one by one and try to get a shell using our Metasploit framework. Let's fire up our MSF console. We can see that there is a service running on port 139 called Samba, SMB 3.x or 4.x. Now luckily, this version of Samba that is running on our target box is vulnerable to the Samba user map script command execution. And this can be executed using the Metasploit module. So our Metasploit is running. Let's search for Samba. So there are lots of modules for Samba. We will use this one, the Samba script, which has the excellent rank. To use this module, we can copy the name of the module, or we can just enter the ID, which is 8 in this case. But we will copy the name of the module by pressing Ctrl-Shift-C. And then enter use and the name of the script that we want to use. Press enter, and we have loaded the module user map script. Now let's look at the options required for this script. We have to set the remote host and remote port. The remote port is already set at 139. We have to set the remote host, which will be our target. To set the remote host, we use set our host. And then the IP of the target, which is 192.168.1.102. Press enter, and we also have to set the listening host and listening port, which in our case has already been set up. This is the IP of my attacker machine, on which my MSF console is running. To set the local listening host, we use set lhost and then the IP of the attacking machine. Similarly, we set the port by entering lport 4444. Press enter. And let's show options. So all of these options have been set up. We can see that there is one target with an ID of 0 and the name automatic. Sorry, the command is not execute. The command for exploiting is exploit, not execute. Let's enter exploit and wait. We can see that a reverse TCP handler has been started on our attacker machine. Now, a command shell session has been opened. From this address to this one. This attacker machine has access to shell on our target machine. Let's do a quick pwd and ls. So we can execute any command on our target. So basically we have accessed the shell. Let's see if we are root by entering the ID command. So we can see that the UID is 0, which means we have got the root access to our target or victim machine. This is how we exploit the old version of Samba, which was 3x or 34.x, running on our virtual machine, using a script called Samba User Map Script, present in the Metasploit framework. And now, we will exploit the PostgreSQL DB 8.3.0 on our victim machine. Which is running on port 5432. Luckily, this old version of the PostgreSQL is running on the system and using default credentials. So it can be exploited to gain a shell on the system, using the Postgre for Linux failout execution Metasploit module. Let's search for PostgreSQL. And we can see that there are 15 modules related to PostgreSQL. And we will use this one with an ID of 11. It has an excellent rank and it is for the Linux payload execution. So we will check and use this one. Type use and copy the exploit. Okay, now let's show options. We need to set the R host and L host. Let's set R host to 192.168.1 and 102. And set the L host to 1.103. All right. Now let's again show options. And we see that everything has been set up correctly. Now let's do a run. So we have a MetaPrater session or shell. So we now have a shell on our victim machine. Let's run some commands. Type ls. Let's see what type of user we are with the ID command. Shows unknown, OK. Let's try to open a shell with a shell command and now check the ID. We can see that our user ID is 108, which is not the root user. So now we will use another exploit to access the privileged user. So we'll do privilege escalation. But first let's check the kernel version. With the command uname a, and we can see that the Linux version is 26.24, which is an old version. And vulnerable to Linux udev netlink, local privilege escalation. We will use the relevant Metasploit module to exploit this vulnerability. But first let's terminate this channel and put this session in the background with the command background. So if we enter the sessions command, we can see that there are currently 2 MetaPrater sessions running. We can use any one of them to gain a privileged shell. Let's use this exploit, udev netlink, for our privilege escalation. Show options. We can see that it requires some session, and from our previous output we can see that the ID for the session can be 1 or 2. Let's use the session 2, and set the session to 2. Let's again check the options, and we can see that the option 2 has been set. Now let's run the exploit. Seems like we have another session. Let's open the shell and check for ID. Great, so we have got a privileged user, which is the root user, by exploiting another vulnerability in the Linux kernel. So in this section, we also learned how to do privileged escalation.